So, we're going to talk about the AFC Championship, but Dario wanted to bring some of these tweets up to my attention.
Yeah. So I know over the past couple of weeks we've talked, and Russell has thought that I was a crackhead or just a Mahomes tard, which is true. The Mahomes tard part, not the crackhead part. I would tell him that people actually do hate on Mahomes and the Chiefs. Like it really does happen. And he's like, I think that's just your timeline or something. But then I showed him tweets of actual networks that are posting these things about my boy.
This is fucking blasphemy.
Yeah, right before the game, this happened, and I feel like they got it wrong, but I might be wrong.
This is what I don't understand. First thing's wrong with this. Before I even get to quarterback, the Chiefs' defense, I would say, is not as good as the Bills' defense. Like if I was going to do this tale of the tape before the game, I would have flipped those two. I would have definitely had quarterback over to Mahomes, considering he's thrown for 50 touchdowns in a fucking season, and Josh Allen has not. And Pat Mahomes has a Super Bowl ring and MVP, and Josh Allen does not. Right?
Yeah.
So, and number one wide receiver, if you want to say Diggs over Hill, you could say that, but I think it's closer.
There's an argument. Yeah, there's an argument.
An argument could be made, but
I don't think he's over it. I don't think I would take Hill over Diggs.
I would too, but I like burners. But I could see people who.
But Diggs is a burner too. Like he's
just not. It's just a different class.
Yeah, exactly.
No offense to Steph Diggs, but
Hill's just been here. Yeah, and Hill's just been. He's been consistent. Like to me, like the last 3 years, he's been a better receiver than Diggs has.
So this goes back to some of the stuff you were telling me.
But I want to go back to the defense because I feel like you have a misconception on the Chiefs' defense. If you look at the last half of the season, the Chiefs, out of all the defenses that were left in the championship games, they allowed the least amount of points.
Okay.
And I just think that matters so much more, especially in the playoffs. You
can't say that. You can't say that. And because I also agree, I think that that's bullshit just as much as I think that this is bullshit, what I have highlighted on the screen, which is very simple, right? In the last 6 games, Josh Allen has been hotter than anybody, better QBR than Pat Mahomes, better completion percentage, more touchdown passes. There is an intangible Allen is bringing right now. That is this. I said the same thing about what you just said that I'm going to say about this. That doesn't mean anything.
All right, so that's cool. So my next thing will be the whole season. Let's do the whole season. I'm pretty sure out of all those defenses, Chiefs were more than likely had the least amount of points allowed out of all those defenses. The Chiefs' defense has been elite this whole year.
I don't know how to look that up directly, but if I find data for that, I'll put it up. But what do you call it? Another thing for Pro Football Talk. Has Josh Allen improved so much that he has caught up with Pat Mahomes? Some in the league think so. I guess that means like anonymous people throughout the league that are sources. Insanity. Insanity. Continue. CBS Sports. Let me tell you something. Josh Allen is the best QB on the field on Sunday. Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, they had a better combination and connection this season. And I'm sure it was said like this season, than Pat Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. What a can of horseshit. I've never seen such biased, recency biased, insane reporting in my life. Josh Allen has improved leaps and bounds. I had to fight for him off camera with you to put him in MVP conversation. Okay? I understand that Josh Allen is good. But what I just don't understand is Pat Mahomes is getting unbelievable negative criticism for reasons I can't totally explain. I credit the Chiefs winning mainly to what I like to call the Bermuda Triangle. Or the Holy Trinity. Whatever you like to look at.
Yeah.
Kelsey and Hill are on their one side. Kelsey and Hill are their one super monster on one side. And then you got Mahomes on the other side. And then you got Andy Reid up here. And you can throw them on whatever side you want. It's an equilateral triangle. They all provide an equal amount. That makes this arguably the best offense in NFL history. I don't know if they are for sure, but it's totally arguable. You could make the case. They put up a shit ton of points. They got nothing but speed, and no one could ever seem to stop them from scoring 30 when it matters.
Yeah.
So,
and the part that's most insane, is if you look at so Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs offense has only punted once this entire postseason.
Right.
That means they either had a field goal attempt or a touchdown.
The offense is doing their job.
Exactly. So that's just why, and that's why I said before, when you look at our NFC Championship review, if you give Patrick Mahomes three chances to score points, he's gonna get you 20. This proves it. You gave Patrick Mahomes 9 chances, and he scored on 8 of those chances.
Yeah.
And it's just not gonna, that's just what he does. And Andy Reid draws up a perfect scheme.
Yeah.
And and if the scheme doesn't work, Patrick Mahomes makes sure that he makes something happen out of it.
That's the thing that, I think, and the thing that I continuously hear from all of those guys is, and I'm talking about the Holy Trinity, that they all help each other. That each one of them, and you hear it in multiple interviews. I've heard Hill say it, I've heard Kelsey say it, I've heard Pat Mahomes say it, I've heard Andy Reid say it. They all contribute in their own ways to making this great. Yeah. And I think that's great. But go ahead.
All right, so let me just fanboy here, because and it's not even about Mahomes or anything. I love this team, man, because it's just amazing to see. So Miko has a botched punt in this game.
We're gonna in the first quarter. Come up right now.
It happens right here. He gets his botched punt, and he fucks up completely, and he goes down on the sideline and covers himself with his wind jacket or whatever.
Yeah. And
then Mahomes goes over, and before he goes and sits down, Kelsey goes and tells him, you're gonna get your opportunity again, to make up for it. And he has his shit over his thing. Mahomes takes it off and tells him, bro, be you. We the game's not over. This is us. We do this shit.
Yeah.
And immediately after, they walk right down the field.
Yes, they do.
And my man gets the touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And then the very next possession, they give it to Miko again, and he runs for a 50-yard whatever the hell them shit's are called. And it's just amazing to see.
That's the type of shit that you hear about on championship winners.
Yeah, and that's leadership right there. That ain't no Aaron Rodgers crazy.
Not just from Mahomes.
Yeah,
all
exactly.
3 members of the player part. Actually, the entire Holy Trinity at one point or another came up to Mecole Hardman and said, "We us, baby, we us."
Exactly. And then he goes and does this.
And he does that and gets a touchdown. And then
and after that, we go on a 38-6 run.
Yep.
We are the Warriors of the NFL. You've said this before.
Yeah.
And this is just you've never seen something like this in the NFL. The Warriors would go on these runs where in the third quarter they would just blow open the game.
Yeah.
The Chiefs just do it randomly. You don't know when the fuck is gonna happen. In every single playoff game they've had in Patrick Mahomes' career, they've had a 15+ point spurt.
Yeah.
Where the other team doesn't score and they go on some type of 15-point run.
Yeah.
If you look at every single one of his career games, it's happened.
Yeah. I've seen 3 or 4 other offenses in NFL history that have been able to do this in my lifetime. 2 teams Randy Moss was on, right? The 98 Vikings and the 07 Pats. And then the other one is it's not Dynasty, but that Manning Colts era that team. And then I guess if you want to throw his 55 touchdown season Bronco team in there too, those are the guys. That's it for me. And those are really the teams that have been able to just turn on points whenever possible. But the difference between the Chiefs and those other teams is that no one's been able to stifle them. Really. No one's been able to stop them. Like I said before, no one's been able to stop them from getting 30 points when it matters most.
And it's just too hard though. Like in reality, I'm not even trying to be stupid. Like you literally have to figure out double team Kelsey, double team Tyreek somehow, and you have to, you have to somehow get to Mahomes with 4. If you don't get to Mahomes with 4, if you try to blitz him, you're screwed for the whole game. Yeah. You can't do it. Like it's just too difficult. And they have too many fast players to like get away. Like he's gonna get it to one of his guys, and it just makes it super difficult in the playoffs. And
Travis Kelce murdered them underneath because of the way they played. He just took care of the zone. Kelce sat in that zone, right? And he ended up with 15 targets, 13 for 118 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Easy money, right? Then in the second half, as the lead builds, right, in the second half, then you have Tyreek Hill come, and we're going to get to a play where after the play, and I'll point it out when it happens, but after the play, literally there were guys on the Bills sideline being like, he is the fastest human being I've ever seen. Like, he's ridiculous. Like they all were so defeated at the speed of Tyreek Hill. But going back to what I said in the NFC Championship game, as we look at this drive right here, the difference between field goals and touchdowns.
Yeah, facts. And I got a question for you. Have you ever seen a team that could turn on a switch in the NFL? Because we talk about it all the time in basketball. Yeah. But because these guys literally have a switch. Like they literally like we saw
this is the play, by the way. That was the play. I'm gonna run it back.
Yeah. Oh yeah. His yak, man. Like the fucking yards after catch is insane. Yeah. Like all you gotta do is just get it to him, and he's gonna do what he gotta do.
And then they try to cover over the top for Hill, and then Kelsey's wide open underneath. Like it's pick your poison. And the way Andy draws up the play calls, you're always going to be picking your poison. There's no way you're not.
Exactly. Yeah, and there's so much motion you can't. They're never giving you the matchup you want. Like they're always he's moving them so much just to get, and he's calling the same play. Yeah. Andy Reid literally just mirrors it. He's like, all right, you got they're clearly trying to have this defender on you. We're gonna move you to this side. If the most of the time they're trying to play zone because you don't want to play man. Especially they almost never play man, and when they do, they always take advantage with Hill. Like that's and we'll talk about it next week when we do the Bucks breakdown. But that was what the Bucks did. They played man and immediately
they got burned.
Just took advantage. Yeah, and that's what they're always gonna do because no one's fast enough to fucking stop Hill.
No,
and so they're always gonna play zone. So he just runs his plays from different sides, and it's just a mirror effect.
Tyreek Hill has figured out how to take his Olympic speed and turn himself not only into a good rack guy, but a amazing route runner.
Yeah.
Right? Like he runs deep routes. Outside of Devontae Adams, I can't think of a guy who runs better deep routes than Tyreek Hill. And
it's his cuts. Like his cuts, his speed is just what makes it so insane.
To be able to restart that speed again. Here we go. Another play where he's so fast. They were defeated after this play.
Yeah.
Completely defeated. They were on the sidelines like I've never that's another level of speed.
Yeah.
And it is.
Bro. And this with this team versus the other teams, like any of the other Chiefs teams that I've watched, like in 18 and 19, like I just trust this defense significantly more. Like the way that they were on they were on Diggs and all of these motherfuckers, just like you rarely saw that happen where Diggs just had open lanes or areas or whatever. And it's only if they're fucking up by like double digits that's happening. Yeah. Like when the game was tight, like these guys were fucking locking down receivers.
And this is when your defense plays at its best, when they are forced to throw.
Exactly.
Because it just allows that defensive line with Chris Jones to hunt.
Yeah.
And
I looked it up for you.
Yeah.
So in terms of points allowed, Tampa Bay is the only team other than the Chiefs. It's Tampa Bay at 9 and Chiefs at 10 in terms of defenses with points allowed. And obviously the Rams were, I think, what were the Rams? I think they were like first or second. But and we obviously, I had never thought that the Chiefs were better than the Rams. It's Baltimore, then the Rams,
right?
And then Chiefs are 10. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just, and my whole thing is I feel like it's that number still skewed because what they would do, and we both would talk about this all the time. Once they go ahead, they start just letting you do what you got to do. You know, we don't give a fuck. We're up by double digits. The game is cleared. Like, there's no playoff team that this team has faced that they have not seen a double-digit lead again. Like, that's just insane to me.
Yeah.
Like, they've been demolishing playoff teams. Like, that's crazy. And we'll see what happens next week. We'll talk about it.
Turning our attention away from the Chiefs for a second, I want to talk about Buffalo because I think this was one of the more complete teams this season.
Yeah.
From top to bottom. And Josh Allen played the best season of his career, right?
Yeah.
But where else can Buffalo improve? And is this, like, did they hit their peak? Like, are they going to be able to maintain this level of success?
Yeah. So
I don't know.
So some people think that this is the beginning of a rivalry.
Yeah.
And then other people think that this is like a Minnesota kind of team, where you had a quarterback go crazy, and then he had a magical run, and it's not going to happen again.
Right.
I'm personally more on the rivalry fence, but I'm more so, and I know this is weird because my quarterback didn't do this, but he kind of did. I just want to see Josh Allen take a little less money to help his team because I don't think he's good enough to have the. I'm sorry, like I this might be super disrespectful, but I just don't think he's good enough to fucking push this team on his own. Like when Mahomes' contract comes up and they probably have to like cut a little bit more people and the you know, obviously they might not have the greatest defense or whatever, and they have to like build the team just around him, which they kind of already done.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna be fine. I don't know if Josh Allen's gonna be fine. I think he benefits from a really good defense and having the pretty good receivers. And I don't know if they're gonna be able to pay all those receivers. I don't know if it's the Tom Brady effect. Like Tom Brady was great for so long because of that money situation. Yeah. And it's not about like if you're gonna get if you want $40 million, take 35. I think you should take the 35 and push it somewhere else to where you could get a better offensive lineman, better defensive player or something. Like I think because no matter what, you're gonna make your. If we're talking about his longevity and the Bills' longevity, I think that's what would need to happen. I think if it's just him getting his $40 million contract and then they're building around him, I don't know if I'm saying that these guys are.
I don't think there's any quarterback in NFL history that's won it by themselves ever. First of all, and we've talked about this on previous shows, there is no team that's won a Super Bowl that hasn't had a good defense. That's number one. And number two, like, the best quarterback, my favorite quarterback of all time is Peyton Manning, right? And the one thing I learned from Peyton Manning's career is that you cannot do it by yourself. You fucking can't. I don't care if you're Pat Mahomes. I don't care if you're Josh Allen. I don't care if you're Aaron Rodgers. I don't care if you're Tom Brady. That's why Tom Brady wanted to leave so badly. Yeah. Because he felt like the Patriots were looking at their offensive system and just going like, fuck it, we'll get big guys to cover the offensive line and we'll let Brady work with these fucking janitors on the side. Like, and I think, and Gronkowski. and that was it. And the only reason they got Gronk is because he wasn't as high in the draft as other people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they found him, quote unquote. But you need to have this complete team. And in the last 10 years, a lot of these championship teams have won with their quarterback on a rookie deal. Or like a cheaper deal, like you were saying with Brady. But, or it's the rookie deal, like we saw with
Mahomes, Carson Wentz.
Yeah,
Carson Wentz was on his rookie deal, but he did bad. He got injured.
He got injured.
They did it. It was a couple of
Mahomes, Jared Goff made the Super Bowl on the rookie deal, right?
Yeah,
and it's because you build once you have that good quarterback on that cheap contract, then you build around, like you were saying. So I just think that's the challenge of any organization in that sense. But I think for the Bills, the number one thing they need is an elite running back if they can get one. That's the one hole that I see in their team that could help them. Because look at all the games that they played super well. They didn't have any kind of a run game. That was something that we had talked about going into this game, is that they didn't have any kind of a run game. They ran for 29 yards against the Ravens in the game before the championship.
That would have actually that would have made it so much harder for the Chiefs in this game. Like it could have changed the dynamic of the game if your quarterback wasn't your best rusher.
Unless your quarterback is Lamar Jackson and you have an offensive system predicated around the quarterback getting 100 yards a game, I don't think your quarterback should be running the most on your team.
Yeah.
I definitely don't think his 7 attempts should be leading the team. That doesn't make any fucking sense to me. I think you should get a solid runner in there. That the hard part is it's hard to find a running back to pay because either he's getting tagged like a Zeke Elliott or Le'Veon Bell. They're getting tagged or it's too late and they're old news at that point. So that's what I think they need to look for in the draft is a really solid running back that they can do read option with Josh Allen. That controls the clock. That'll help them going forward because then they can run play action off that. And go ahead,
Sorry, I was gonna say, and that'll be the biggest protection to your asset. Like, if you're gonna pay someone $40 million, you don't really want him to run that much. You know, like look at Mahomes. He doesn't run that much. Like, I think he's one of the smarter runners. Yeah. But he almost screwed. Like we could have got fucked out of this playoff game because of one of his like 5 runs this year. You know what I mean? Like it's
Michael Vick, Donovan McNabb. All kinds of running quarterbacks throughout history have had their careers shortened or altered because of the amount, especially Michael Vick, who had a hard time finishing an NFL season often. It's hard to maintain that, and it's why a lot of people worry about Lamar Jackson's longevity going forward. Is that one of those big injuries and your whole career could be fucking different. You know?
Yeah. And the NFL has 100% injury rate. So it's just facts. Like that's 100%.
Look at Cole Beasley's ass playing with a broken leg.
Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous. AJ Brown played with a broken leg.
Like, that was crazy.
There was a couple of guys.
Both of them. Because like and it's crazy because Cole Beasley led them in receiving yards in this game. And I think 88, something like that.
You think that Diggs would have gotten a bunch more targets? He got 11 targets. Yeah, but Beasley still 7 of 9 targets, 88 yards.
Yeah, and freaking But the thing with Josh Allen is he actually has his attempts went down this year. I'm pretty sure, or it's been gradually going down his rushing attempps.
Right.
So
true.
So that's good.
But as we saw in all of the playoff games, once it mattered and once it got to nut cutting time, he was doing a lot of running.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And if they had, I'm just trying to think of the right back. You know what I mean? Like, what if they had drafted Jonathan Taylor? Like, imagine if they had a Jonathan Taylor type guy. If they had a Jonathan Taylor type guy, just to, like, Devin Singletary was the guy for them the year before, who they could hand the ball up to and put away games, and he just wasn't that guy this year. And Zach Moss got hurt at the end of the season, but I didn't think he was that guy either, if you want my opinion. I mean, jury's still out.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think they could, if they had an elite running back, that's the one piece here on this team that I think they need so they
Which
can
they
control
can
the clock.
get. You can get them in the first or second round or something like that, and it's not that like. I think they're a couple of pieces away. It's not like they clearly just like. To me, they kind of got outclassed by the Chiefs. Like it was just to me, it wasn't close, and like they went up 9. We literally spotted them 9 and then went insane on them.
Yeah.
Like so, it makes you a little nervous after that. But like if you get a good running back and your defense is elite, like isn't
that's what
like
I'm saying.
I
feel like you have top 5 everywhere else. Honestly,
because that's why I was saying like I wasn't even trying to be a dick, even though I was trying to be a dick at the time. but like if you're gonna do a shootout with Mahomes, you're gonna lose. Like that doesn't make sense. Like you should like what the true objective should have been is keeping the ball out of his hands. You just didn't have that. You didn't have that strength. You didn't have a running back to keep the ball out of his hands.
But
like Josh Allen is good enough to where if you have a running back, you breaking down the time, and then you have him making these key plays.
Yeah.
Then it's gonna be a little bit more dangerous. But if you're just gonna try to have a shootout with the Bermuda Triangle, you're just gonna lose.
But that was the stat, and why I ended up betting the over, because of the stat that you told me last week on our show about
the 30+ with the Chiefs.
The Chiefs, not when they lose, it's a shootout. If they're gonna lose. They're putting up points. And you told me Josh Allen was well aware of that. And even though you're saying that they should have taken the ball out of Mahomes' hands, and I agree with you, there's something to that shit.
Plan, though.
There's something to that shit. There's something to that. Them having, you still got to score those points because he might even be efficient with that. Like we saw Josh Allen versus the Colts. The Colts tried to take the ball out of Josh Allen's hands.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And Josh Allen pulled the Pat Mahomes. He was efficient and productive with his opportunities.
Yeah.
Like, that's why you always have to be putting up points on a guy like that. And trust me, Tampa Bay's going to try and do the same thing, I think. I think they're going to try to put up points.
I know the whole thing is at like with the Patriots back in 2018 when Patrick Mahomes lost in the AFC Championship. Yeah. What happened was they were doing that. They if you look, Sony Michel had a great night, and but we had to put up points, because we were gonna if not, obviously we would lose the game, and we ended up tying the game towards the end, and then Brady had whatever the fuck he did.
Yeah.
But that was but that's how they were at least the Patriots were controlling the game all the way through. You know what I mean? Like the Chiefs had to scratch back to get back into that game against the Patriots, and that's what you want to do. You want to at least keep the better team on their heels and try to make them work. And what it does is it forces Patrick Mahomes to have to be perfect, which he damn near was perfect. He went on 9 drives. He scored on 8 possessions. But he has to be perfect, and you put that pressure on him. And that's what's the big deal with the limiting his possessions. Like maybe he wouldn't have got the 9 possessions; he would have got 7 possessions.
Yeah, and then you try to hold them to under 5, and that's how you keep the scoring down.
Yeah, exactly. Like things like that. Like it doesn't have to be the running game is going to make it a lower scoring game, but as long as you keep them on the edge and you keep Mahomes having to get to you, like score your points, and you're giving him less attempts and time with the ball. Like, I think that's what kind of makes it a little tougher on the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But it's just fucking Andy Reid with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce is just not fair. Like, it really like he just gets
the Bermuda Triangle in real life is a place where ships went and they miraculously vanished. And and has the Bermuda Triangle made the Bills vanish?
Exactly.
Has that happened? We've yet to see. But one thing that I'm positive on, and one thing that I'm sure you're positive on, is Kansas City Chiefs dominate the AFC, and they're going to be dominating the AFC for a long time.